But actually now, Jake Paul has got to think about what he's doing next. If you're that good and you think you're clever, why don't you fight Usyk? Alexander Usyk, he'll fight you. Let's see how that works out for you. You get flattened. Game over.
As the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take.
Able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right?
The WBA's startling decision to include Jake Paul among the top 15 cruiserweights has angered boxing fans and professionals alike. For diligent warriors who have devoted years to the sport, many view the action as a slap in the face. Jake Paul has only faced unidentified opponents or retired boxers who haven't shown a genuine challenge. Boxing insiders are calling for fairness and honesty in the ranking system. And the WBA's action has prompted demands for a boycott. They claim that favoring celebrity over actual talent degrades the sport's standing and disregards serious competitors vying for a spot.
So I've just found out that Jake Paul, the YouTuber, influencer, who has been doing a bit of boxing against people who aren't boxers, aside from Tommy Fury, who is a complete novice boxer, and an old retired champion in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who has been through rehab and all kinds of stuff, been out the ring for quite a while, an OAP Mike Tyson, who physically is in a terrible place, and two now inactive cruiserweights called Andre August and Ryan Borland, who I have absolutely no idea who they are. I've just found out that that's what qualifies you as the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take. I've been in the middle of making another video about Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga, and I've had to just stop what I'm doing and make a reaction to this. And I'm just going to go in raw here because I'm absolutely furious. I'm absolutely furious. Like, this is the sort of shit that we have to deal with as boxing fans. Everybody in this sport, and I call it a sport because that's exactly what it is, tries to treat it like it's just a business, like it's just a way of lining their back pockets. You cannot tell me in any world that Jake Paul has done enough to be ranked as the number 14 cruiserweight in the entire world. And I want to be really clear from the off, this isn't actually an attack on Jake Paul's boxing ability, because that's not what this is about. It's about what have you done to show me you're the 14th best cruiserweight in the world. Because for all I know, you might put him in there and he might do really bloody well, but that's not the point. You have to earn that position. How can you have earned that position? By fighting a bunch of influencers, athletes from other sports, and having lost to one of the only active boxers that you've actually faced in Tommy Fury, who very much is a part-time boxer at this point in his life. And then your most recent and highest profile win being against a guy who didn't throw a bloody punch for the first half of the fight.
Boxing fans are outraged after Happy Punch reported that Jake Paul is now officially ranked the number 14 cruiserweight in the world by the WBA, making him eligible to challenge champion Zordo Ramirez. Critics argue Paul doesn't deserve the spot, having mostly faced retired fighters or unranked opponents. His rapid rise in the rankings is seen by many as a slap in the face to boxers who've spent years battling through the ranks. For professional fighters who've earned their place through grueling matches and hard work, Paul's sudden jump feels unjust. The WBA's decision has stunned the boxing community, with fans and athletes questioning the credibility of the organization. Now, legitimate contenders may find themselves in the awkward position of fighting Paul not because he's earned it, but to protect their titles and reputations. Too many, this move undermines the sport's integrity and signals a worrying shift towards spectacle over merit.
I can now win a world title. Jake Paul, after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., has now been moved to number 14 in the WBA official rankings, meaning he can be a voluntary defense for Zurdo Gilberto Ramirez's world title. But this is now where we need to beg the question of what is wrong with these rankings, because there is no world where Jake Paul is the 14th best cruiserweight. What do we do? What's boxing got to do to save this? Is it go to a one belt division like the UFC have, or is it just for the divisions that we've got and the belts that we've got to actually just sort themselves out? Make sure you subscribe for the updates, we'll keep it coming, but this is mental.
As more insiders accuse the WBA of putting business ahead of principle, the outcry grew more intense. Jake Paul's ranking appears to be based more on his financial contributions than his accomplishments in the ring. By doing this, The organization risks losing the respect of seasoned combatants who rose through the ranks by overcoming real obstacles. Many people think that commercial motives have corrupted the cruiserweight title situation by taking precedence above athletic principles. The significance of champions' hard-won titles has been lessened.
After defeating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the WBA decided to give Jake Paul a ranking. According to them, he's the 14th best cruiserweight boxer in the world. I know they're trying to push him for a title shot and it's the show business and whatnot, but you're disrespecting all the cruiserweight boxers with this one. And to even be ranked, aren't you supposed to actually defeat someone who's ranked? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. hasn't been ranked in years.
Jake Paul's victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. certainly improved his reputation in boxing circles as a result of this ruling. What started out as a novelty performance has evolved into a real drive to advance in the organization.
Ow.
Jake's victory gave him opportunities, placing him in a situation where those who have titles are unable to ignore him any longer. He has successfully changed the narrative, as evidenced by his ability to quiet skeptics and compel the boxing establishment to recognize him.
So now that Jake Paul won his fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's apparently ranked top 15 cruiserweights in the world. And apparently, I guess now, world champions are able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right? And now you're automatically ranked top 15 and you can fight a couple of world champions and it makes sense. Not that I think he beats any of them. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't see it, bro. If Jake ends up beating somebody, yo, shout out to him. He finessed his way to the fucking top and a world champion and really like cemented himself into the history books. But the way that he boxes, he's just very sluggish. It's kind of slow. You know, I think any cruiserweight world champion, even Badu Jack, will defeat him. And I actually don't even understand why he even wants to fight Anthony Joshua, besides the bag, obviously. But what do you guys think, though? This whole shit has gone crazy.
Jake's victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was far from spectacular, according to many who criticize his ascent. Once a respected fighter, Julio did not put up much of a fight. He looked more like a stationary target than an active combatant for the entire contest. Jake's job was made much easier by Julio's lack of serious offense, which transformed what should have been a real test into what many called a glorified sparring session. Fans who anticipate genuine fights inside the ring find it hypocritical to applaud Jake after such a victory.
He did not throw barely any punches for the first half of the fight.
More than half. First 8 rounds, you might say.
Yeah, and a little life at the end, but too late when he knew the fight was winding down on time. I say this, that it was hard for me to gauge the performance of Jake Paul. Essentially a sparring session. And I'm trying to see, is he continuing? Is he developing? Is he getting better? And off of this fight, it was hard to gauge when you find a puncher bag, but then towards the end of the fight, I thought he was exposed. The stamina started to dip. The defense wasn't tight. There was some technical flaws. You could find them. You could hit him. In the end, he gets a decision. He gets another win. He keeps his show moving on. What'd you make of this fight? What'd you think of Jake Paul and his performance overall?
Making no excuses for Jake Paul. Give him credit for what he's done with his career, with his promotion, with his business, with his dream. Give him credit. Give the guy credit. God almighty, he takes risks.
It was well known that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. performed poorly. He frequently fell short of expectations, even at the height of his fame, which infuriated both fans and critics. It's obvious that he wasn't at his best when he met Jake Paul, when you consider his personal difficulties, which included time spent in treatment. Many people think Jake's team picked Julio for this purpose, understanding that a victory over a lesser-known opponent would propel him up the rankings. Claims that Jake is abusing the system have been strengthened by this calculated matchmaking.
Chavez Jr., one guy performed, one guy did what he was supposed to do, brought the fight in, and one guy just did it. And if I'm talking about Jake Paul and a former world champion, you'd think that what I'm about to say favors the former world champion. And then you realize I'm talking about Chavez Jr., and then you say, no, well, okay, we have to flip those because Chavez Jr. is known for disappointing on the biggest stage, and that's what happened again here. I cannot tell how disappointed I am in watching Chavez Jr. over the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds throw a total of 36 punches. I didn't say land. That's not what I said. I said throw. Chavez Jr. threw 36 punches over 5 rounds. And out of the 36 he threw, he landed 8. 8 punches through 5 rounds. 15 through 6. 20 through 7. He landed 20 punches through 7 rounds.
Within the boxing community, Rayo Valenzuela's commendation of Jake Paul's performance offered some legitimacy. Rayo's acknowledgement implied that Jake's efforts shouldn't be completely disregarded, because he is a fighter who is aware of the demands of the sport. According to his remarks, other athletes have taken notice of Jake's progress in the ring. Sport fans continue to wonder, though, if a single victory over a lackluster opponent warrants a top 15 rating, or if Rayo's remarks were more an act of sportsmanship than a sincere endorsement of Jake's standing in the division.
I missed you, just I want to get your reaction to the fight.
Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through, so, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, when life throws at you sometimes, but, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him.
You think he's ready to fight maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he wants, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something.
Yeah. In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back in the fall, hopefully.
The fall?
Yeah.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
Nothing set in stone.
All right. Hey, just want to get your thoughts. The rematch between Lamont and Roach, how do you see it? Tank and Roach.
That's a good fight. 50-50 fight, like the first fight. I'm going to go, I don't know, whoever.
Finally, Canelo and Crawford. Break it down.
That's a good fight, man. That's a good fight. It's hard to count Crawford out, man, because he's just a dog. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Crawford or Benavidez, So, Crawford, I don't know. I'm 50-50.
All right, Rayo, thank you.
Thank you.
Jake Paul has no intention of slowing down. It is clear that he is confident and aware of the business aspect of boxing when he publicly calls out Canelo Alvarez for a cruiserweight world title fight. Given the enormous payout that such a show would provide, Jake is certain that even a boxer of Canelo's caliber may consider the notion. While some respect Jake's audacity, others see this as another proof that
it's Canelo. I mean, this moment will prove that I'm the face of boxing, the largest attraction, and me versus Canelo at 200 pounds for the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. It's even bigger than me versus Tyson, and it makes so much sense. Canelo's on his way out. He's going to want a payday, and I want to show the world that all the shit I've been talking about beating Canelo is actually true, and I'll have the biggest upset in the sport of boxing. Show that I have more followers than him, etc. This is going to be the most watched fight of the century, so I'm going to be the new money man.
That his career is more about making headlines than pursuing worthwhile athletic endeavors.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight, and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end results as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it yourself. Peace.